Good evening. Welcome to Momentum Chat. I am Majida Bay,
Hey, and welcome back. I'm John Epstein.
and this is Momentum Chat, our live show. We do this every Tuesday at 7 p.m., and we are going to have a great conversation tonight. So tell a friend, share, like this post, and we want to talk to you today about how does being unhealthy affect your ability to acquire wealth. So definitely stay tuned. We'll be getting started in just a moment.
Awesome.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Momentum Chat. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk tonight.
Awesome. Awesome. I got a little bit of a different setup today. I got my headphones on. Talk about headphones up.
That sounds cool to me.
So I'm really excited about this conversation today. You know, last week we talked a little bit about Medicaid and Medicare and how those things can really impact right your ability to build wealth. So we want to take a little different spin this week. So for those that are joining us, April, I'm sorry, May. We're in May now.
Yep,
May
man.
is Mental Health Awareness Month. All right, National Mental Health Awareness Month. And as a result of that, we wanted to have a conversation about how your health impacts your wealth. So, for those that don't know us, I am Ajita Bay, your financial conductor. I help parents and professionals get on the right financial track and become someone both their parents and children can be proud of. And I'm joined by my esteemed colleague and mentor, Mr. John Epting, senior financial broker with World Financial Group, 20 plus years of experience in the financial services industry. So he knows a little bit about wealth, right? Building wealth, right?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, right? And I've had about 10 years of experience in this industry, but I've had the privilege to learn from John and be mentored by him. So I'm really, really excited about the conversation today because health is not something that people think about or a lot in terms of their wealth. Would you agree with that?
Great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, can you just give us a brief summary, so to speak, of how your health impacts your wealth? You touched on this a little bit last week, but if you can just reiterate for those who may not have been with us last week, why does your health impact your wealth, or how does your health impact your wealth?
Well, your health impacts so many different things, and a lot of times we put things in a box. It's funny, we're talking about this. My wife and I was just talking about something similar, not really this specifically, but we were talking about how um, guys like me from the military, and especially if you did certain jobs in the military, you put things in a box and you think it's
Mm.
not affecting you. And,
Uh,
and, and those things affect all things. It's not just your relationships, it may also be affecting your money. You know, when your health isn't good, for one, when your health isn't good, you end up spending more money on it.
hmm
So it's actually less expensive to stay healthy than to get unhealthy and try to get that fixed. So, and I've seen this, unfortunately, you know, in my 20 years experience in the financial industry, but then 30 years in leadership and entrepreneurship, that I've seen people grow a good amount of money, grow a good amount of wealth, if you will, and one sickness wipes it away because they didn't have other things in place too, certain types of insurance and just kind of safety nets for your money, right? So it'd be really good for you to have a shelter for your money. And most people, when I say the word shelter, they're thinking taxes, but
hmm
that's just one. And as you know, last month we talked about, you know, financial literacy month, and you know, one of the enemies of your money is taxes, but that's not really what we're talking about this time. We're talking about health,
Yeah.
and it plays a huge part. Mental health. You said this is Mental Health Awareness Month as well, all right? Mental health plays a huge part in your building your wealth. Matter of fact, if you're struggling mentally, you don't even have the energy to go build wealth. You don't have the energy. You're not interested.
Yeah.
You kind of check out emotionally and mentally of the world, and building wealth, you have to be present.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely requires focused attention. It requires intentionality to build wealth, right? They said if you aren't intentional about being wealth, you'll accidentally become poor, right? I think I heard that from Rob Wilson. So super important to have the mental bandwidth or capacity to build wealth. And it's something that I've become more aware of, even for myself. Like I can be an emotional spender, right? Like I can spend emotionally, right? And I know a lot of people are, right? We're all emotional beings, but I've become a lot more aware of that. That like when I'm not feeling well, if I'm stressed or anxious, I tend to spend money less responsibly. I'll put it that way. And so because I'm aware of that, I have to put systems in place to mitigate my habit or my preference to spend emotionally, right? Like if there's no money in the discretionary account, then I can't spend it, right? So I put it in savings, I put it in the bills account, so that when I get the discretionary account, I'm like, all right, I need that for groceries and gas. I can't just blow it on, candy and who knows what else. But
that sounds tough, doesn't it? It sounds like it'd be hard. But think about this. What about emotional eaters?
Yeah.
So an emotional eater will eat their emotions, right? Spending money, bunch of money they don't really have, going out to eat way too much, right? Because they need the entertainment, they need that stimulation, all right?
Yeah.
But now that's destroying their health. My wife, I told her, well, it's part of my regiment of things I do as far as my health. But I just finished I'm an intermittent faster, and I just finished a 36-hour fast. And so my wife was asking me because she was making something, cooking something earlier, and she was asking me, so what are you going to eat when you break your fast? Blah blah blah. Right, so I was breaking down things to her and why I did it that way, and it just kind of baffled her to a degree that I went through all that. First of all, that I went 36 hours. I hadn't eaten. My first meal today was at noon, and I hadn't eaten since Sunday night. And then for me to go all that time, right? Well, I'm focusing on my health. I'm focusing on making sure that when I can get to the weight I want to be at and things like that. But also, most people don't know fasting, certain types of fast and the length helps heal things in your body, right? And then it was really weird to her that I'm not eating meat, right? Because I am a carnivore. But that's I go a couple times, maybe 3-4 times a year, where it'll be a week, 2 weeks to a month that I don't eat meat at all. It's kind of just resetting my body, detoxing a little bit, stuff like that. Yeah, but
that's good stuff.
Think about people who do that as well. And I think I'm an emotional spender too. Except my emotion isn't that I need to buy something. I like getting deals. Right. So when something's on sale, right, and it's a really good deal, even if we might not totally absolutely need it, I might get it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm a lot better than I used to be. Now I kind of fluff a lot of that stuff off. But I like getting deals. That's why I do all the shopping in my household. My wife doesn't do any. I mean, if she went grocery shopping, it was because she wanted to get something specific. But other than that, I do the grocery shopping.
Good stuff. Good stuff. See, and I want people to hear us, right? We're both financial strategists, and even we have to manage our spending, right? So, right, we're still human, and we don't make all the perfect decisions when it comes to money, but we put systems in place to help manage how we spend our money. So,
absolutely.
Let's dig in a little bit more, John, in terms of your health and your wealth, right? So you spoke about how it's definitely important to take care of your health.
Yeah.
Or you could use your wealth, you could deplete your wealth in order to take care of your health.
Yep.
And so in terms of building wealth, one of the principles that we teach is that the foundation for your financial plan is protection, all right? Having the right protections in place.
Having the right
we talked about it. Yeah. All right. So right types of insurance and things like that. And so it's something that people don't really think about a lot is that your ability to have that foundation in place, right? That allows you to build a solid financial plan. But if you are unable to qualify for various types of insurance because of your health, right? Whether it's your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, right? If you're unable to qualify, that could not so much eliminate, right? Because you can still build wealth in other ways, but that could be a huge hindrance to being able to build a solid financial foundation or to be able to build wealth. So can you speak to that a little bit, how your health impacts your insurability and having that foundation in place?
Absolutely. Without the right insurances, you can still build wealth, but you're building it without a safety net. That's basically what that is. Because, for example, I can go put 10 grand in something right now, right? But if I pass away next week, my family only gets 10 grand. But if I had the right types of insurance, i.e., a life insurance policy, and I put 10 grand in a life insurance policy, my family may be getting that 10 grand plus any death benefit, minus any fees that may have been. So we'll say out of my 10 grand, right, only 9,700 is going back to my family because it had to buy the life insurance, I guess you would say, right?
Yeah.
So my wife wouldn't be just getting 10 grand. She might be getting 2 million plus that 9,700. I'm gonna even make it, I'm a lowball 8 grand. She might only get 8 grand back, right? When you don't have, all insurance really is, I think people miss, is it's just a transference of risk. The reason you have car insurance is because you don't want to hit somebody who have to pay for it, right? So what did the car insurance do? It protected your wealth. Myself, for my wife and I, we had a 5-year-old daughter that got very sick, was in the hospital for 50 days, right, for 7 weeks. Can you imagine, right? And then she passed away. Can you imagine what our medical bills were after 7 weeks in the ICU of a hospital, right? But thank God we had the good health insurance, right? Had good things in place. There was things in place, right? So guess what? It protected our wealth. And if you see it that way, now, if for life insurance, it's protecting my income. What if I'm not here anymore? Right? But your health plays a part. Unfortunately, in my 20-year career, I've seen people get declined, and I work with a lot of companies, so I can shop around to a lot of companies.
Yeah.
So for this many companies and I'm going to say this so people can really catch the picture. When a life insurance company decides that life insurance companies make money by giving you a policy. Okay. The longer you keep the policy, the more they make. Okay. And the longer you go without a claim. Okay. But in life insurance, it's normally a death, right? Death or sickness, right?
Right.
So they make money by giving policies. They want to give you, in order for them to make money, they have to give it to you, and you have to keep it, right? And hopefully for a long time. Okay. When an insurance company say you're declined, we don't want to give you a policy. Basically, they just said we don't even want to make money off of you. You're too big of a risk, right? And I've had people get declined for all kinds of things. Now, I'm going to say one because you said this is Mental Health Awareness Month. Okay. I've had a lot of people decline, unfortunately, for mental health reasons. They look perfectly fine, but you dig into their records, right? Now, because that's what an
Yeah.
insurance company's going to do, right? For the size policies I do, right? You trying to get a little $10,000 policy, almost everybody gonna give you that, right? It's gonna have a 2 or 3 year contestability period, and they probably not paying the full death benefit the first 2 to 3 years, but okay. I'm not even talking to you because you don't even understand insurance anyway, right? You still think, and no, I'm just saying, if you're still thinking of life insurance only to bury me, my wife would say that's a poverty mindset. Because the wealthy buy astronomical amounts of life insurance just to leave it.
Yeah.
Just they leave the next generation not just okay, wealthy. So life insurance is used for that stuff, right? But your health does play a part. Oh, matter of fact, check this out. Your criminal record plays a part. Your driving record plays a part. I had somebody decline because because of their criminal record. Now, I've also had people get approved because of and they had almost the same criminal record, right? So there's factors that play involved. So if you're listening to me like, oh, because I have this, they ain't gonna never give me. Don't say that. It's a lot of companies, and all of them underwrite differently, right? Oh, I got diabetes. I've gotten people with diabetes a life insurance policy. I've gotten people with cancer, which that still puzzles me. That one, but even me, I was like, really? They approve that? Right? I'm gonna shoot for it. I'm gonna try. We're gonna at least try, right? What's the worst they can say? No. Well, I'm married. I've heard no. I'm a business guy. I've heard no. No doesn't hurt my feelings. It might hurt your feelings, but it don't hurt my feelings.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. When you say no, I didn't even hear you really. You said blue to me. Why'd you say blue? I don't understand.
That's good. That's good. And I think that's important for people to understand, right? Like, I think you said this last week that the choices you make today affect your tomorrow. All right. So all of the choices that you make, it's okay. It's okay. There you go. All the choices you make today impact your tomorrow. So if you decide to, in your youth, right, your 20s, you get your brand new car, you got your license, you decide to speed or drink and drive, and all of those things, it could kill your ability to get insured at that time, right?
Yes.
Over time, it's less of a factor.
Mm-hmm.
Plays less of a part, but at that time, because you're making decisions, you have immediate gratification, it can affect you, down the road or when you need it. And so a lot of times, we advise people, the younger you start, the better, right? So if you can get it in your early 20s, right, it's cheaper, right? It's more economical when you're younger, and you have more time to pay into the policies. And if you're in good health, got a good driving record, no criminal record, insurance companies love to offer you policies because they're looking at, hey, this guy's got 40, 50, 60 years to pay into this policy. All right. And I like the concept of protection and insurance in that way, because what if we could start every child in America with a life insurance policy? Like, what if we could create an entire generation of millionaires or wealthy people simply by getting them the right protection in place when they're young, right? When they're young, they're generally in good health.
Yeah.
They haven't, gotten a lot of the factors that could affect your insurability. I've had even children decline because of obesity, right? Or because of medications that they're taking, right? Well, typically they're not going to start on that stuff before 5 or 6, right at the earliest. And so,
normally when you're in school is when somebody else outside of your family stepped in and decided to prescribe your child something. It wasn't normally you.
Yeah.
Someone else stepped in and thought they knew better than the parents themselves. And that's how that stuff ends up happening. And of course, some things can happen prior to that with the vaccinations, right? But in our parts of our organization, we call that $1 million baby. Right? What if you did $1 million policy on your child almost as soon as possible?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm speaking from experience. Unfortunately, I've lost 2 children. So I lost an infant son in 2001 October, and also a 5-year-old daughter in March of 2012. So I get this, right? And we were blessed. So we were blessed to have a business and have things in place and things like that. So my wife and I, our daughter, we could take it easy. We could take a break. We could get our minds back together and things like that. But what about the person who still has to go to work that next Monday? My daughter passed away on a Friday. What if my wife's job at the time, she still had a job. What if my wife what if my wife was the only? What if she only had the job, and she had to go back to work, and they only gave her 5 days of bereavement?
Mm.
Right? Who loses a child and is ready to go back to work 5 days later? I am, in the clients that I coach and the people I talk to, I always tell them, yeah, hey, you may not do what I did, but hey, can you have 2 to 5 years of your income in life insurance on your children? Why? Because that gives you 2 to 5 years to kind of get yourself back together, to mourn properly. Most of us don't mourn properly.
Yeah.
Most of us don't get healed. Right? We just keep moving. We think, oh, time heals all. No, it doesn't. You got to work through stuff. All right. I
Yeah.
was in the military for a long time. I was in the military a long time ago, and there's some stuff I'm dealing with. Right now, I've been in therapy. Right. So for the guys that's listening to us right now, especially my black brothers, right? Look, you can't be shy about the fact that you may need some help, bro. That you need to talk to somebody. I just want
Yeah.
to say it. I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm gonna just say it, and I'm so glad that I went and got some help. My wife and I always did that when it came to our marriage, but I never did it for me. Right? I thought I had it. I thought I had it together. And a few years ago, I started dealing with some stuff, just some feelings, and then oh my gosh! And I have great friends. I have great friends who I can talk to about this stuff. You know, I'm as an introvert. It's kind of weird that I have the men that I have in my life, right? Because normally I would want to push everybody else away. I'm a Scorpio and an introvert, so it's like antisocial to the eighth power, right? I might as well be an engineer too, right? But no, I have some great men who I can talk to. I have some men in my life who I could tell them anything this goes on in my head, anything, and they won't look at me any differently. They won't judge me. Actually, they'll walk with me and pray with me and help me get through that stuff. But even I still went and saw a therapist,
Yeah.
right? And I guess I was doing so good. I remember when we first started seeing our therapist, my therapist. I remember he says his job is to get us to fire him. I remember that, right? So it's kind of okay, right? So in other words, when we got it, time to go, right?
Right.
So I was going to my therapist, and it got to a point where he fired me. I guess I was doing so good. He was just like, "Well, John, just call me when you need me."
Yeah.
But I enjoyed talking to him. I enjoyed because I got a lot of insight from him. He helped me see things in a different light. He gave me a
Yeah.
different perspective, right? He also turned a mirror on me so I could see me, right? But not just the blemishes, also the good,
Yeah. That's good.
you know? And so that bit of mental health helped me to move to different areas in my life, which actually helping us build more wealth.
Good. Well, no, I think that's important because, and this is something that I'm actually experiencing even right now, like understanding how your mental and your emotional health impacts your physical health. Because a lot of
Oh,
times we're not thinking about that, right? We're thinking, like you said, we're just going on, going through our daily routine and that's normal. But we go see a doctor or we go get a physical for a life insurance policy, and you got high blood pressure, right? It's causing it's affecting other parts of your body.
yes.
I was on a webinar last week, and one of the things that the speaker says, she says the body knows, right? The body knows what you're going through, so it's going to show up
Good.
in some way, shape, or form. And
That's
so
good.
we got to be aware of how things are impacting us. I was sharing with a friend actually earlier today that I'm one of those people who, like, I don't trust how I feel, and so I
Huh.
have to think about how I feel before I express how I feel. It's really weird. Like, I don't just, like, off the cuff be like,
No, that's very mature. Most of us do not have that. Most of us are validating our feeling instead of examining it first.
Okay.
So no, I take that as maturity. You're more mature than me when it comes to that.
But I think to some degree though, it's affecting because I hold things in until I can like sit down, process them.
Okay.
And so then it starts to show up in my body, and I'm in my head too much that I don't just allow myself to feel what I feel or express what I need, what I feel. Right. Because I'm too concerned about how other people are going to feel about what I say, or I want to make sure that what I say and how I say it is, considerate of the other person. So I'm like doing all this processing. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm doing all this
we
processing.
can hear her. We can hear her yelling.
You can hear her. She's like, I'm going to be heard, right?
Right in your mic. I think she got louder because she knew you had headphones.
Yeah, because she had a pair too, right? I got everybody a set. Yes.
Smart.
So she could be on her device, No.
Smart. You know what? I'm going to interject in what you just talked about too. How you can see your health in your body, your mental health, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing is, so I'm going to be 50 this year, and I'm making some steps to, correct some things in my own health and stuff like that. And I'm noticing that sometimes we see these guys. If you ever see a guy, right? I'm going to just speak to guys today in reference to this part. I don't want to offend no women, but you ever see guys, and at one point that guy was really physically fit, and then all of a sudden he has a beer gut, right? And I use air quotes because a lot of times it's not beer, it's stress. His cortisol levels start spiking.
Wow.
Cortisol is a stress hormone. And it sits right in your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how your body is made too. So you have this outer layer of fat, then you have muscle. But believe it or not, there's some fat underneath the muscle, and that's visceral fat. So you'll see guys like that. And you ever see one, it looks hard? It is hard. That's not really beer, that's stress.
Wow.
And sometimes he doesn't even know it. Right? Then you take a guy who's a stress eater. Oh my God. This is getting really bad now, right? So not only is and here's the other thing that happens in men when their stress levels go up. Their estrogen levels go up. And testosterone goes down. So it's almost like your body's fighting against itself.
Wow.
All because of a mental thing. All because of stress.
Yeah.
Right? And when you're in that state, here's the facts, right? When you don't feel good in your clothes, right? You remember there's an old saying, when you feel good, you do good.
Yeah.
Right? But when you don't feel good, you don't do good. You don't want to do nothing. Matter of fact, your confidence level goes in the tank.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Mommy.
All those play a part in you building your wealth.
Mommy. She's trying to video record me. That's good insight, John. I think that's important for people to understand. And no, we're not physicians here, but I know John studied. He studied health, right? He's done some work to invest and understand that certain things about his health. But however, working in the industry that we do, we have to be able to communicate to our clients how certain things can affect and impact their insurability. That's one of the toughest, questions to answer. Is like not really a tough question for us to answer when people ask, well, what does that have to do with me getting insurance? Right? Whether it's their build or whether it's their driving record or whether it's, their criminal background, whatever the case may be. Like, what does that have to do with me getting insurance? Right? It's a risk, right? Risk assessment. And we're talking about building wealth. And so everything counts, right?
Everything.
I love this book called The Slight Edge. And he talks about how everything compounds. And so the decisions we make today can affect our tomorrow. And so you can do things, you can anticipate like the wealthy do and prepare for what could happen in life, right? So we spoke a little bit earlier about having that $1 million baby. What if we had a mindset that, all right, maybe I've jacked up my health or my driving record or whatever, so I can't get insurance, but maybe I can give it as a gift to my child or a niece or nephew so that family can still build wealth long term, right? We put certain things in place to build wealth for the next generation by putting the right protections in place and getting it on children while they're young. And there's so many, right, with social media, and children are exposed to so much more. And so they're dealing with some of the issues earlier now, right? There's so much more exposure. So they're dealing with mental health issues, and they're dealing with bullying and cyberbullying and all of these things to where children can be declined, right? Teenagers and even younger can be declined for protection, which is impacting their long-term ability to build wealth. Because like mentally, if they're not well in their youth, until they take care of that, they're not going to have the mental capacity to think about building wealth, much less be in a position to build it because of their insurability, right? Like their focus isn't on that. And then they're not in the best condition to do so. So it all definitely ties together, And it's so important to be aware and be conscious of the decisions that we're making and the things that we can do, right? So we're all about solutions, right? I don't always talk about insurance. It's not really about investments. It's about providing solutions. And so some of the solutions that we're talking about are ways that you can plan ahead, anticipate, and put things in place to help build your wealth for your family.
For sure.
And so, can you share, John? I know you shared the experience of losing your daughter and even your son. Yes. Go bathroom. Okay, Melanie. Go, Melanie. Mommy. Okay. Mommy. You can go on your own. Mommy. Yes. All right. You can go on your own. Mommy, you can bathroom. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Go. Mommy, I can't bathroom. Go. You're going to have an accident if you don't go. Mommy, I can't. He's not letting up. So can you share with our audience, John, real quick, why? Mommy, wait a minute. You can go.
We might have to cut this show short.
Right. Can you share with our audience what are some steps that they can take today, right, to start put certain things in place to build wealth or to even improve their health so that they can build wealth? Mommy.
Well, I think the only thing I can do is Mommy, I keep so things I do, I guess you would say, is
you can go to the bathroom.
Guys, if you wanna get your health better, start studying it. I mean, the good thing is we're so open. We have so many different places that you can get information from. Now, of course, all the information may not be good. You got to learn how to eat the meat and spit out the bones. But hey, you can get information from so many different places. I pay attention to what I eat. Right, that's one big one. I'm not a big medication guy. I do have a supplement suite that I take, such as vitamin D, B6, B12. I have a multivitamin. I cycle on and off creatine. I'm a weight trainer, things like that. So, but I'm very minimal in that stuff. I drink half my body weight in ounces in water a day. You guys are actually watching me try to finish my. Well, actually, this is extra. But my allotment for the day, so half my body weight in ounces is actually a gallon for me. Right, so I try to knock that out. Now the good thing is I kill about 66 ounces before 9 a.m. All right, I kill 44 just during my workout in the morning, and I go to the gym at 5:30. So those are the types of things I do. But then also I just went through an entire. Thank God for my doctors. I have some really good. I say very good, and I'm going to say anal doctors. My doctors are a little overboard, right? But they're probably because of who they're dealing with. They're dealing with me, right? So, so over the last 6 months, I've seen a cardiologist, I've seen a neurosurgeon who I'm still working with now in reference to my lower back. I'm a disabled vet. I'm working with. I went and saw a kidney specialist. My little brother had a kidney disease, and so I'm constantly just watching it, just paying attention. And
Yeah.
because of my size, my numbers never. There's one particular number that never seems to. So I'm paying attention to that stuff. Are you paying
Yeah.
attention to your health? And I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, I didn't, as a man, as a military man, didn't really start paying attention, like really paying attention to my health till after I was 40.
Mm.
I didn't do as much as I'm doing now. But also you start seeing your body change and you want to know why. So you start, I noticed my metabolism kind of quit on my 40th birthday. It's like they came in and just dropped off the table, left their keys at the desk and like, we ain't coming back here no more. And, and that was that. And it's just certain stuff I had to be very moderate in what I did. Right. And all of those types of things. See, so now I don't go to a therapist anymore, but going to the gym is therapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Increasing my endorphins, pushing some weight. Now I'm training someone too. I have a young man who I meet at the gym. That's the only reason I go at 5:30, guys. I'd much rather go at 8, and I have the freedom and flexibility to do so. But for him, I meet at the gym at 5:30, and it's really cool to go with somebody else because that person pushes you. Of course, I'm supposed to be training him, right? But because I'm with him and he's working out with me, he pushes me. I did a little bit more
Yeah.
on my leg day, or half of my leg day, and I did a little bit more today than I did the last 4 weeks when I had nobody with me. I finished all the sets, finished all the reps. Those types of things that I do. Pay attention, and I read labels. I am paying attention to a whole bunch of stuff. So I am.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put anything toxic in my body anymore. I don't just trust it because it has a name brand on it or it was on a commercial. I probably trust it even less if it has a commercial. Yeah, I really. That's real. That's totally real. Like so. And some of these things, I'm the only one doing it in my house, but there's some things I mandate in my household. So
Mm.
that my wife and daughter just have to do that, and it's there's no debate. Nobody gets to vote. So as the head of my home, and it's really because of I care. I want them to know that I love them. I want them to be here a long time, especially if I'm going to be here a long time. I was joking with somebody at the gym today. What's my fitness goal?
Mm-hmm.
Walk my daughter down the aisle.
Mm.
Because I figure once she meets the young man who's gonna call her queen, right? So whoever her prince is, when he comes to come pick up my princess, right? Him and I will have some time before he actually gets that privilege of walking her down the aisle, or me walking her down the aisle and handing her over to him. Right? I need to be in good health for that.
Yeah.
I do. And
That's
so
good.
that's just the health part. On the financial part, start where you can start and start right away.
Yeah.
Procrastination always costs more. You said something that I frequent. I say all the time that every decision you make today affects your tomorrow. And that's true. Every decision. From what you drink right this second as I'm speaking, to what you wear tomorrow. Every decision you make today affects your tomorrow. And if you ponder that long enough, you'll understand what I mean, right? Every time somebody puts a cigarette to their mouth, their premiums for their life insurance just went up,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you drink too much, if you drink and drive, right? I mean, any decision you make affects your tomorrow, and procrastination always costs more. It's always costs less to just go ahead and take care of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting started in building your wealth, no matter where you are, it's never too late. So if you're
Yeah.
20 listening to this, or you're 60, it's never too late.
Yeah.
right? Nobody knows how much time you got here, right? That 60-year-old might have more time on the planet than that 20-year-old will.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
Got to get started. You definitely have
Gotta,
to get started.
and it doesn't cost a lot to get started. It doesn't take much at all. Can you
No.
save $5 a day? Can you save $3 a day? Can you save $7 a day? Start there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've
No,
seen people build an enormous amount of wealth on $10 a day. I know it sounds totally weird, but
it doesn't.
you bring compound interest involved in the right strategies and not timing the market, but time in the market. Psh, you'll see some amazing things,
Yeah. Absolutely. And
shocking things.
I love how you said, are you paying attention to your health, right? Are you paying attention to your wealth, right? It's something that you have to be intentional about. I mentioned earlier, if you're not intentional about building wealth, you'll accidentally end up poor. If you're not intentional about, being healthy, you'll accidentally end up unhealthy. And so everything requires intention. And in terms of building wealth and taking, it's something that you have to give attention to. And oftentimes I hear, oh, I'm not good with money, or right, you've just never studied it, you haven't taken the time to learn it, right? And so if you invest the time to learn it, work with the coach, have somebody help walk alongside you to get to your goals, you can learn it, you can apply it, you can implement it, and you can get the results that you want. So sometimes we need a coach, right? Like John is my coach. Because, like, as I mentioned earlier, I'm emotional when it comes to my money. I still am. And so I have systems in place to help me mitigate that. But at the same time, I'm aware, right? Oftentimes we're not aware of our relationship with money, which a
Very,
good friend of ours, Salathia Johnson, talks about. She dives deep into that conversation, right? Your relationship with money. If you're not clear about your relationship with money, then you're doing things unconsciously that could be hindering the thing that you say that you want. We can
very.
say we want to build wealth, but we could be
Oh
doing
my
the
goodness,
opposite,
it's like
right?
self sabotage.
Actions, right? Our actions are not congruent.
Yeah,
And I think you've talked about this before, the idea that if you look at a person's calendar and you look at their bank account, that'll tell you what's a priority for them. And so your
for
health,
sure.
your wealth, your marriage, your relationships, your family, right? You have to prioritize those things, and it has to show up in one or two ways: your bank account and in your calendar. And that's definitely an area that I'm working on very consciously. Like, all right, does my calendar reflect my values? Does my calendar reflect
Yeah,
my priorities? Does my bank account reflect the same?
yeah,
And so, like I said, those systems help me to mitigate the poor habits that show up from time to time, right?
yeah.
If I'm feeling a certain way, instead of me having that knee jerk reaction to go swipe the credit card or to swipe the debit card, I check myself, right? I
Yeah.
have a system to help mitigate. All right, look, you need to deal with your feelings, not go spend money, because that's not going to resolve how you feel. You need to talk about how you feel. You need to express how you feel. And so, it's a give and take. But I can at least say that I'm aware of my
Yeah,
relationship with money.
yeah.
I have a desire to give, right? And so I create a bucket to give, right? That's just something that I need to do to feel, good about myself. When you feel good, you do good. So I feel good when I give. So I have to create a bucket for giving so that I don't
That's
give away
awesome.
my rent money
Yeah, that's
or
awesome.
my mortgage.
That's awesome. That's really
So,
awesome. And many more people need to do that. It's funny you said something earlier too. You said some people say, "Well, I'm not good at money." Let me relax everyone who might be speaking. I've actually heard many different types of people say they're good with money. Let me give you one. I remember a young lady said, "Oh, I'm good with my money," right? But she had no money. And then when I looked at things, she was good at paying the bills.
mm,
Okay. Then I had another person who said, "Oh, I'm good with money," right? And had nothing saved. How good? I mean, what? So, what's your definition of good? And then I've actually had
mm,
somebody else who was investing and putting money in these places and giving a bunch of it away. And at that time, I remember that person was giving away 23% of their income, their gross income, mind you. I remember doing the math. That's why it's so clear, right? And I remember at the time, my wife and I were only giving away like 21% of our gross. I think that's why I remember it. So this is of course, this is a long time ago now, right? But I remember we were giving away like 21%, and they were giving away 23%, right? But they were doing something, right? Good money is relative.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on what we're talking about here. Yeah, but you've got to put safeguards in place. You got to put things in place to help you, right? And especially if you don't do this all day, every day. Just like Majida said, right? I'm one of her coaches. Well, guess what? I got a coach too. I got a couple of them, right? Because why? I'm emotional about my money too. And the reason we keep saying the emotion thing, just in case anybody's listening who's never heard us talk about this, whenever you make decisions with your emotions, they are bad decisions. Almost every time. Okay, you ever been in a relationship, you made a decision with your emotions? When emotions are high, intelligence is low. So when you're all flustered and mad or even happy, you're probably making a bad decision right now. Relax. Step back for a minute. And all that stuff will play a part in building your wealth and what your wealth will look like.
Good stuff.
In my opinion.
No, absolutely. So, hey, listen, we're here every Tuesday, 7 p.m., just to bring you some insight about different topics as it relates to building wealth and protecting your family. And so if you need help in that area, right, or if you're looking for somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can, ask questions or get some questions answered, or you're looking for someone that, can help you get started, reach out to John or myself. We got our links there at the ticker. You can schedule a complimentary financial consultation with either one of us just to help you figure out where you are, right? We do a complimentary financial x-ray where we just take a snapshot. I learned this from John, so nothing that I say is original when it comes to this stuff. But, right, we take a financial x-ray and we're going to check your pulse as it relates to your finances. We'll see if you have financial cold or financial cancer, right? But wherever you are, understand, no matter where you're starting, you can get from where you are to where you want to be. It just takes a shift in your direction, right? You don't get to your destination overnight, but you can definitely change your direction overnight. And that's what a financial strategist, that's what a financial coach can help you do. Change direction, right? Because if what you were doing was working, maybe you wouldn't be where you are right now. So you may need some help to get on a different course. And that's what we can offer in terms of financial education and financial strategy. So we appreciate you all tuning in. Hopefully you've got some insight out of the conversation. Thank you all, of course, once again, John. Any final words, John, to our audience to help them improve their wealth?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Whatever you want to do, you can do, but it's all up to you. So just make some changes to get there. You probably just need some course corrections.
I like that. Whatever you want to do, you can do. It's all up to you. I'm going to leave that as our tagline as we head out of here. So definitely tune in next week. We'll be talking more about health and wealth. And so, hey, if you've gotten some value out of this conversation, share it with a friend, invite them to join us next week so that they can too get some insight about these topics, and go back and watch some of our replays, right? All of our conversations are really about your mindset and your money and how all of these areas can impact your ability to build wealth. We are definitely focused on financial solutions, financial strategies, very practical ways to build wealth, right? It's not just a pie in the sky thought. There are practical things that you can do to build wealth. You just need to get started. So we thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, John.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Majida. Great job tonight. Great talk, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we'll see you guys next week, Tuesday at 7.
Next week.